welcome to Out Loud with Lauda. And in this episode, we have Rob here. Rob, introduce yourself.
I am Rob.
Roberto.
Great introduction. I know, but I'm a musician. I live right next door to this lovely person, and we have something in common, I think. Music.
That's what we had a lot in common, mate. Just one thing. Just kidding.
Music is a whole world of things, and we have a lot more than music in common, absolutely. But
because that's the bro for sure.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, I'm a musician, and I work on visual and creative design as well, specifically in like interactive design for like multimedia.
Yeah, this dude is hands-on everything, for sure. So tell me, how did you get into your art? Especially with music, that is my main focal point for you. Because you're a really good musician and I really love listening to your shit. So
thank you.
Yeah.
How did I get into it? I fell into it. I really didn't have a choice. And that goes back to like me being a very young child, probably the age of, I don't know when your first memory comes. Do you remember how old your first memory is from?
4.
Yeah, probably around that for me. Like 5.
4 or 5.
6.
Yeah.
I even 5 is probably a little fuzzy, but when I was a kid, I grew up on listening to like oldies in my parents' home, and they had a record player with a bunch of like the really, really old stuff, like, you know,
like the Elvis Presley records.
Yeah, and like the dinner, you know, the like dinner evening crooners and shit, and that's really cool.
Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Bing Crosby, the other Crosby, you know, like that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I grew up on that, and then like oldies music, right? Like Cool 108 radio here in the Twin Cities, but you know, like anything from the 50s to like the 70s. And I remember when I first fell in love with music, there was a record I finally heard by the Moody Blues.
Okay.
Great, like one of the most pioneering rock bands in all of music history, the Moody Blues. And their records made me fall in love with not only like music and rock and roll, but the idea of like listening to like a produced album, you know, like the way the sounds were made, the effects, the stereo stuff. That was like, you know, neurons just firing in my head, and I've been obsessed ever since. So started a long time ago, I guess.
What's your favorite song?
Favorite song?
And why?
I really should have come prepared with like a
Okay, let me simplify
song.
it. What's your favorite group to listen to when you're feeling down about life and you need to feel that revamp?
I would say like in the last 5 years, it's the things that I don't listen to a lot that I know are special, right? Because like if I avoid over listening to it, it's because I'm protecting that music.
Sure.
And lately it's been Joy Division.
Okay.
Because it's if I need to like look inwards, it's kind of meditative, but it also has all those things I love about music. These weird echoey reverbs and dark dystopian guitars, and like you feel like the end of something is coming at you, and you're like kind of not hoping that the song will ever end, but also hoping to get through the uncomfortability of the song. And that's where some of the old Joy Division like sonics hit me. But I guess I'm just kind of emo throughout the decades of music that I listened to.
I feel like my very first album that I really loved, that I fell in love with, was American Idiot.
Oh, yeah.
By Green Day. Bro, can we just talk about that for 3 seconds? It is literally, it has to be that, because you and I are the same age, aren't we? You're like 32, 33?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close enough.
I feel like, but don't you feel like, okay, so what's your favorite Green Day album?
1029 Smoothed Out Slap Happy Hours.
Okay. But why though?
First album I ever listened to. And
Like
just
ever.
raw freaking energy. So that's like more of it was like 2 EPs put back to back from I forget what even year those came out. And the like the record sounds horrible. Like it's not
Oh, for sure. It was
well mixed. It's,
yeah.
it's nothing great, but so much energy. And like that is like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14-year-old me was obsessed with like shitty punk band, you know, records coming out of California and a little bit from the East Coast. Most of it was coming out of California, but like that like raw sound was like very cool.
You know, I actually really like Warning,
Ooh, okay, yeah.
but I actually really love the song Warning as well.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, I didn't realize, especially listening to that song, because, you know, it's like, this is only a test, right? So, I love the fact that he actually is saying what we're all experiencing right now, and it's almost like he foretold the future. I was like, Billy Joe, man, you got some shit going on, bro. You got that smartness in you. He foretold so much that has happened recently in our cities, but especially like during like the whole COVID situation with George Floyd. This is that, you know, and it's crazy because I feel like they're such badass musicians because they always stand against, you know, politics, and they're all about the fucking revolution and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And I feel like the way he walks to his own drum, you know, I respect the shit out of him. So, yeah, the whole band. Why am I talking about Green Day right now? I'm sorry. I'm really freaking, like, just in it. I'm just in it. You know?
I mean, yeah, bands that have that same vibe are always magnetic to me, like Rage Against the Machine. Very authentic, very angry, very palpable emotions pouring out of that music. And in a complete like 180 from Green Day, I think they have like one of the best mixed albums I've ever heard. Like Battle of Los Angeles is like, I think, a perfect album. I don't think you can do anything better than that if that's the thing you're going for, is like political anger, making people think while also like wanting to headbang. They nailed it.
Yeah. What are the emotional elements that you look for in an album?
I think it's not necessarily trying to cover every emotion. I think it's trying to capture depth of an emotion, right? So you can have like a romance album, but if it's you know, I think Frank Sinatra sometimes fell into that trap, maybe with his producers or the record company making compilations of like, here's just 10 sad songs of a spurned man who's sad because his girl left him, and
dang,
or whatever, or like things, like he was in his feels, but it sometimes it felt like there wasn't
drowned out.
Well, yeah, and just like not enough differentiation of content. And I'll probably go back and like, you know, eat my words listening to a Frank Sinatra album, and he does have a lot of different expressions. Yeah. But sometimes you're like, oh, that is just him doing the same thing once in a while, right? And you're like, oh. But like things like
talk about your dog dying, bro.
Oh, right.
Talk about how you hit that bunny across the street.
Yeah.
You know, like you cross your car and you feel damage from it. Oh my God, you killed an animal.
Yeah, like finding ways to express different aspects, like different facets of the emotion, or getting into like a shallow version and a deep version, and something that's more pensive and something that's more like raw. I think that can help really drive an album. It's like you don't feel like it's being too heady or too surface level. You need that balance of how much you think and how much you feel.
Best album you've ever written?
Best album I've ever written.
In your opinion, on your growth, because only you have the rights to be able to talk about what you find charming in your music.
I mean, the best album is still yet to come for sure.
You haven't written like, or are you're more of an EP artist versus like a full like album?
No,
or?
I just mean like I've written, I've made some good albums, but I don't think I've made my best one. You know, so the best
Your
one,
favorite, sure.
Yeah, it's not going to exist yet.
Yeah, we won't know until we know.
I think I hate all my music after I make it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? So many musicians tell me the same shit.
Oh, I've got hours of music that'll never see the light of day. I've got weeks of music that's like never gonna be released.
Do you feel like it's because you already emotionally invested so much time into it that you're like, if I do any fucking more, I'm gonna just lose myself?
No, I think it's because I get so distracted that by the time I've finished something, I've already made 10 better things.
So basically these songs were to help you to get that one really good song.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right. I think what you're getting at maybe is like, why aren't you releasing it? And there is a missed opportunity of like not showing progression, right? Like I haven't shown people some of where I started. But I've also, I mean, I have some funny albums from when I was like this tall. Like,
yeah.
The first record I ever made, I was in middle school, and that was probably one of the most profitable records I've ever sold in my life, to be quite honest.
Okay.
Because then I was burning CDs like on a computer one by one, right?
Yeah.
It takes like 10, 20 minutes to burn one CD. Yeah.
CD-ROM, that's what they call it.
And I sold those for like $5 with my friends in my band. It was like, we were just a wannabe Green Day, right? We were like a power punk trio.
Right.
And sold our stuff, and we had enough money to fund our first recording studio. Our second album paid for that and more.
Where did you record?
Literally at our guitarist's house for our second album. Our very first album was recorded in their garage.
Wow, okay.
We had 2 microphones. Right?
Super punk rock.
We had like 2 microphones like this. Not even, they were the $5 version of this mic. And we plugged them into like a boombox. And just set like all the guitars and drums in front of one mic, and then the singer just tried to scream into the other. And that was literally our whole first record. And I've made more money off of that, like 2 microphones recording into a boombox, than I've ever made from Spotify or like records that have sold out the 7th Street entry. Like, no, more money from that.
But also, I feel like that's the most valuable time of your life too.
The money doesn't matter, and
it doesn't. It's the memory that counts.
Absolutely, those were like some of the like rawest formative experiences for me in learning how to make things sound good, learning to appreciate the bad, and like thinking about what's the emotion behind music, what drives people to enjoy the music.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years musically?
5 years? Gosh. I will be, in 5 years, adding a few more instruments, hopefully. I want to learn some new instruments.
What are the instruments you've been wanting to learn and haven't done it yet?
So I've always avoided any sort of like wind instrument.
Okay.
Like if I can hit it, pluck it, manipulate it with my hands, that's great. And I used to sing a lot. I grew up singing. I don't really sing that much anymore. But I would love to like try a wind instrument, and I don't know. That's
saxophone.
Ooh,
dude, you would be
reeds or brass. I don't know.
Come on,
that's
man.
challenging.
You just gotta suck on the tip a little bit and make it like mold to your tongue, and then you just blow.
Maybe a flute. I could.
The flute would be kind of cool. You could do a jazz flute.
I'd go for something weird like a bass flute or something. I don't know. Is there like a tenor? Like, is there a baritone flute? I think there's bass flute, isn't there? There's like different sizes of flutes. There's gotta be.
I think it's no.
Because you have
I think it
piccolo
would
and
be
then what,
like,
C flute or, I don't know
what's this one that's like fucking big like this?
Oh, that's a double reed. You're thinking of the bassoon? Oh,
Yes, the bassoon!
So hard to play.
I used to know this girl in high school who played the bassoon in orchestra. I think her name was Katie or something. I can't remember that far back. Forgive me, it was 15 freaking years ago. Give me a break, you know? But like, she was so cool. No, her name was Sarah. Sarah, that was her name.
Sarah the bassoonist.
Sarah the bassoonist.
It was a nice
She was
there.
so cool. She was super, super sweet. She really made it known that she was Mormon. So, you know, we had to make sure that we were very PG around her. No, nothing like, ooh, you can't do none of that. But she was very freaking talented of a chick where you kind of just forgot about it because you realize how cool she was just because she could play the fucking baritone.
Well, anyone,
or the bassoon.
Yeah, anyone who can play the bassoon is fucking cool.
Yeah, and she was
100%.
really badass and she was super freaking smart. She was just like, I just liked being around her because her energy was just very exuding of intelligence. And you were just like, can you pour more in here? Thanks. Thanks for loving me. You know, no, she was really cool. But yeah, you should do it with the bassoon. That'd be cool as shit.
That'd be hard. I mean,
I'm sure it would be.
You know, people say like violin is one of the hardest things out there.
No, it's not.
I don't know.
It's hard, but
oboe?
That's what I think is really hard. Because when I was in band, because I used to play the flute in band. It was my first instrument I picked up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the oboe. There was this girl in 5th grade. Her name was Kelly. And she played the oboe. And every time she played, her face was red. That girl was like...
That's a lot of muscles. You have like...
It's abdomen work.
Tiny
diaphragm.
And the embouchure for that's really hard because it's a tiny set of reeds, right? Like there's just a ton of air pressure you need to generate sound.
And she would take her cup, like it almost looked like a little like urinal cup. And she would... that's what I thought it was. But then she would put a little bit of water in there to help expand the mouthpiece. Mm-hmm. Because you do have to wet it down. Mm-hmm. So, but I just remember she would just sit there and just like, on her tongue. It's such a weird fucking thing to watch someone do that. But they were just like she was trying so hard to get it to like soften so she could play it.
Yeah.
And she just, every time her face would just be red. Her cheeks would puff up, and I'm just like, she looked like one of those cute little Russian dolls. Like when she would play.
Oh, like the nesting dolls?
Yeah, the nesting, the collection of nesting dolls.
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to imagine what it'd be like if I had to like, I don't know, and I'm not a wind player, right? So I have no idea what that world's like. I had like a friend's crappy trombone that like they gave to me all like dented, and I would try to like make sound of it. I could generate sound, but it's not good sound. The sound quality is horrible. Like if I had to like warm up a guitar by like blowing into it or licking it or something, I don't know. That'd be like.
Can you imagine? Can I take a guitar?
Like like trying to warm my drums up. Like let me get the drums like warmed up. I don't know.
You're like.
It's a different experience. It's a whole different way of interacting with music. Closer to singing, but...
What difficulties have you faced creating music?
What difficulties?
What challenges, I should say, have you faced that you've overcome creating music?
Biggest challenges in creating music have definitely been from within, right? It's all internal for me. Because the whole act of making music is inward reflecting. Even when you play with other people, it's about your mindset and how you engage with other people, right? Because you're trying to communicate. So if you're like blocked from communicating, you're not gonna be able to make music with others. So again, that leads back to like, are you willing to open yourself up to like listen, to like also share? It's one of the most universal languages out there, but it's also very raw. It's very intimate. There's a lot that can hold you back from being your true self in expressing musically. And there's a lot to be gained from like that, but it can be very draining. And we could probably digress forever about introvert, extrovert stuff, but that's a whole aspect to music, is like the balance of introversion and extroversion for me.
Yeah, I feel like one of my biggest setbacks for sure. You know what's so funny is I'm not good at music theory. So when I'm in a room filled with musicians, and they're like, oh yeah, E minor 7. Who the fuck knows E minor 7? Whatever is, I don't even know. It's like E7 minor chord. Is that what it is? Yeah. So I'm like, they're like, oh yeah, can you play that? I'm like, where? What? What's the fingering? You know, and I'm not a guitarist, which obviously like shows that I'm not really good with music theory in that sense. I can read music if it is an insecure thing I have in myself, feeling like I'm not adequate enough of a musician to be able to create with others. That has been my biggest hinder.
Right.
With myself. My growth with myself.
I get that, but you know, I think that's true of almost every musician, even ones who are very accomplished in theory, is that there's always someone that knows more than you. And at some point, it's not even about knowledge of theory. It's like there's always someone who has like more new or different language from you that you will be unfamiliar with. And that, whether it's theory, which is just a way of like categorizing and like helping translate or explain language, you can also pick up on language. Like people can learn a language without a phrase book, right? They can learn a language without like using Rosetta Stone, things like that. It might be harder, but you can do it just by ear, right?
Yeah.
In the same sense,
Duolingo.
Music, Babbel, right?
Babbel, yeah.
This is a paid advertisement for, and now we'll do like a little sponsor. And now from our sponsors.
No, I was kidding. For sure.
But that whole like that language element, I think is a kind of there's always that moment, even if you're like kind of honed in whether it's playing drums or bass or bassoon or whatever, you sit in with another musician or whatever, you're gonna have that moment of like, what are you about to say? What am I about to say? How are we gonna figure it out? And that's what makes it thrilling, even when it's like very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I realized that, especially for like, you know, the music theory and everything, I'm like, who the fuck cares? Like, somebody will know how to communicate with you to make it happen. And so that's where my insecurities have definitely grown. And then I've also taken the opportunity to be able to like, you know, with ukulele, like I learned chords that way and how to like break the tabs and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And read them. And I'm like, okay, that was the instrument, because it was less intimidating to me because of the size. I was willing to accept the theory that went along with it. It sounds dumb because it's not an intimidating size. So for me, I felt like I could go up to the challenge and be like, oh yeah, I fucking own that. I can do that.
Yeah.
I can accomplish that. When in reality, those fingerings are really hard because they're very tiny too. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you gotta compensate for one thing over the other, you know? But
sure.
I feel like definitely picking up the ukulele has challenged me to learn how to learn music theory and learning notes and chords and da-da-da-da-da. And it actually helped me as a musician to speak to other guitars and being like, no, that's F. No, that's A minor. G, C, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, now I sound like a badass bitch. I can throw this shit out there. Like, yeah, pick that up. Let's play it. Let's go. I love it.
I think a lot of it is like built into like the muscles. Like it's a very physical thing. And so for me, that like
the memory.
Yeah. Muscle memory is everything. And one, we're like very spatial aware beings, right? Like we're good at maps. We're good at being like, if we walk down a flight of stairs and one step is like a little bit
higher than the other,
as if once your feet walk that set of like messed up stairs 2 or 3 times, they'll just remember it. And you won't trip again. You might trip once, but you'll like your feet figure it out. You know? It's the same thing with like music. To me is like a lot of that technical stuff is just getting that like the muscles really acquainted with that feeling. And then that frees me up to think about mood and expression and what I want to say.
Yeah. Well, let me see where we're at now. We've been talking for like 40 minutes, I think. No, not really. About 30 minutes. Do you have anything you would like to add onto the podcast before we go? Any new projects that you want people to hear about?
Let's see.
Or art crawl or anything like that?
Yeah, let's talk. What do I got coming up? I don't have. So I play in a band called Honey Dick. You got to check it out. Honey Dick is amazing. It is comedic and also very serious feminist punk rock, fronted by the immaculate Kat Hansberry, my good buddy Curtin on bass, and myself on drums. So come check us out. We might play something at Art Crawl. I don't know yet. We're trying to figure that out right now.
That'd be so cool.
I think it was the birthday of Ed King today, the guitarist for Lynyrd Skynyrd, and he played on an amazing amount of records and great songs. A very cool guitarist. He passed away in, I think, 2018.
Okay.
But anyway, happy birthday to him.
Feliz cumpleaños, arriba.
And let's see. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You've got some projects coming up.
Yeah.
What am I going to do for you on the music? Do I get to like mix something? Do I get to record something? What's going to happen?
So
what do you got working that I can help you out with?
Right. So, okay, Los Elementos. But this is not about me, though. This is about you as an episode. We could always talk about this afterwards. Because I want you to be able to mix and master, but we're going to record it at Eric's.
Yeah.
And we're going to email it to you and send it to you so you can do all the mixing and mastering. But...
So we'll edit in post, right? But you're saying...
But I think because since you live across the hall from me, it would just be so much easier just to record it all there and do it all there. You know what I mean?
But you're saying you'd like to have me mix and master?
Yeah, but I also want you to do some cool keys in it too, or...
All right.
Yeah.
So what's
because it's Southwestern. It's a Southwestern album.
Do you have a name for the album yet?
So... I do, but I don't want to share it.
All right.
Because I'm manifesting on it, and I'm not ready to expose that. But it is a Southwestern album because it's based in a train station in New Mexico.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, and it's all about like, you know, like you have like sounds like this, like kind of shit like that, you know. And it's like, and then you're gonna have a lot of Latina flavor in there. I'm writing a song in Spanish right now, and I'm actually having my father help me out with that because he's actually like a poet, like Spanish poet, Mexican poet, super cool. But yeah, that's what's going on with the album, and I have, and then we're gonna produce Lost in the Sky, which is the one that I perform for Art Crawl. So we're going to add that to the album, and then we're going to add a couple other things. So it's going to be, it's going to be cool. And there's this whole spiritual thing that just happened between Tafoya and I, and we just found out that we have lineage in New Mexico.
No way.
So how fucking weird, right?
Yeah.
It's like all the stars are aligning for us to go, and I'm actually taking it. He just took a trip to New Mexico recently. Like last week, he actually just got back. And now I'm going the day after our crawl, October 9th. And my numerology number is number 9.
I think it means that when you drop this, you're probably going to be doing a west to southwest tour for the album, right?
Yeah. Because I feel like I seriously, in the winter time, I was thinking about it. And if I get these grants, I want to spend at least a month in New Mexico and try to replant my feet in the ground as far as being and like spiritually exploring my inner native, you know, like not even inner because I am Cherokee as well. So it's not like, it's not weird. Like I'm being, you know, what do they call that? I'm fucking tired of shit. What do they call that? When you're cultural appropriation, it's not like that. I'm actually Hispanic, like and Native, so let's get serious. Anywho, but yeah, that's what's going on, and I thought it was actually genuinely really cool that I thought that me and him actually came from the same tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, how fucking funny would that be if we've traveled different lifetimes together as brother, sister, you know what I mean? Because I feel like such a bro vibe with him that it's like, that's my bro.
Yeah. When I, like, this is completely way off subject, but also, like, I wouldn't even worry about, like, appropriation, because also, so you have some interesting heritage. I don't know if I know all of it, but
I have weird heritage.
Where's your family originally from?
So originally, as far as like, you know, from my parents, or you mean like their lineage from their grandparents?
Yeah, from their grandparents.
So, okay, my mother has Italian, Iberian Peninsula, which is Spanish, and she has Cherokee. And then my father has Middle Eastern in him, and then he has Iberian Peninsula, which is Spanish, and he also has some sort of like a Azteca in him as well. And he also has Greek. My dad is Greek. So yeah, there's like weird lineage in that sense. So, but where I think they lived in Mexico for like over 200 years.
Yeah. Well, and
until the Spanish conquistadors like literally came in and like raped and killed everyone.
Well, and it's so easy for people to forget that prior to us drawing like arbitrary borders, like there wasn't really like, there's like the native tribes of of America, and then the tribes of, Mexico and South America. It's just people in different groups.
Literally, it was all like similar tribes to each other.
Yeah, and like and then even after that, like Colorado would have been part of like Mexico, and like there's just a continuation of people. Yeah, like honestly, it was funny. My mom told me growing up when she had found out about like the border never like. Okay, my mom is she's a very prideful Mexican. Like I'll tell you that. Yeah, and she said, we never crossed the border crossed us. Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, shit. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm going to let you have that. Yep. And then she was just like, think of all of the people that literally fell asleep in Mexico, and then the next fucking day they woke up in Texas. Right, and that's happening. I mean, that's happening in places around the world still today. People in the Middle East wake up on the wrong side of a border one morning. People in Europe are having that happen. I mean, whether it's Ukraine or the West Bank or God, I mean, it's such an interesting thing, but we don't need to get into politics as we not yet just go into politics. Well, I know who to invite for the next for the next interview. We're gonna definitely talk about that for sure, because I can definitely go and talk about that for hours. So, anywho, this is Rob, and I'm Lauda La Artista, and we are out of here with this podcast for the day. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Please follow him on Instagram, social media, anything that you want, and he's there to provide the miracle for you to witness. So, you guys have an amazing night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Chill.